Big G does it all.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Big G Does It All. Today we are going to be going over how to resize a watch, specifically the split pin bracelet style watches, which is probably the most common. And today we're going to be resizing this beautiful Aragon watch that I just received. If you're going to get into watch collecting, I think it's important to at least learn how to resize your bands. There's a bunch of different styles, but the most common one's going to be probably the split pin. Some other ones use Allen wrenches or flathead screwdrivers. This is actually my favorite and probably the most common. So first off, the tools you're going to need, you can go on Amazon and get some basic kits for about $10. It's going to come with one of these little blocks that has some holes drilled in there, and then you're going to get this little tiny mallet with a nylon, so it's not going to ding up any of your steel, and it should come with one of these little punch pins. Let's take a close-up look at a split pin. So here is your split pin. It's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's a little pin that is split down the middle. You have the solid end here, which goes into the watch first, and then you have the wedge end at this side, and this is going to be what hammers in at the end nice and flush to keep that bracelet secure. And as you can see, it actually is split right in half there. So there's your split pin. And you can get bags of these split pins, all different sizes, for pretty cheap on Amazon. Same with all the tools. Most watch tools are so cheap. So, for 15 bucks, you can get a lifetime supply of this stuff, So now moving on to the actual resizing part. First, we're gonna have to establish how many links we need to take off this watch. So let me remove my current watch that I'm wearing. Also happens to be another Aragon. I pretty much only collect Aragon. They're my favorite brand. And what I like to do is I kind of just clip this watch right on, and you can kind of visually see about how many links you're going to need to take off. So right now I can tell I'm probably going to need to take these 2 links off to make that bracelet nice and tight up against my wrist. So I'm going to go with 2 on each side. If you have to come back and take another one or add another one, it's not a big deal, but I'm going to go with 2 on each side to start. Next, if you look on the inside of the band, let's see how I can do this here. You can see these tiny little arrows. That is representing the direction that these pins need to go out. So the pin needs to be tapped out in this direction. If your eyesight's good enough, you can actually see that that one is a solid piece, and that is the split piece right there. So we know that the split side has to come out first, the same direction as the arrows that are indicated on the inside of the bracelet. So now I'm going to line up these pins to the holes that are in this little block that I have here, so that they have a little more room to actually move out of the watch there. And once we get that lined up, you're going to want to take your punch and simply place it right on one of those pins. Be careful not to scratch your watch. I'm going to use the nylon side of this and just give it a few taps. There we go. And now that pin should come right out the back here, and your watch should be separated now. Okay, we decided that we're going to remove 2 of the links on this side, so we're going to do that process one more time. We're going to set it right on the pin there, a few taps. There we go. Feel that pin release. And there you go. We have 2 links gone. And we're going to fold our band back. And make sure that you're putting the pins back in the correct direction. So we're going to go round side in. There we go. So this is the wedge side. And we're just going to give that a few taps. Make sure that you're using the nylon side. And I'm just going to set that a little further using the punch. you go, that's nice and set, and that side is done. So actually only removing those two links, actually the watch fits really nice. I'm actually pretty happy with that. So I'm gonna keep it right there. Sometimes you can do one on one side, one on the other. You might have to play with it to figure out what's comfortable on your wrist. But right now, this is really comfortable for me, so I'm gonna keep it right here. Now we're gonna talk about the micro adjuster. So if you look right here on most clasps, you're gonna see these 3 little holes right there. These are the micro adjusters. These are held on by a spring pin. These can be a little tricky, but all you have to do, if you just need it a little bit tighter, you move it one way. If you need it loosened, you move it out one direction. These are for those minimal increments that you need if you just need it a little looser or a little tighter. Let's take a look at one of these spring pins. So here we have a spring pin, and why they call it that is there's actually little springs on the inside here. So the way that these work is they lock into place, as you see. Let's see if I can get that. See right there, you can see how those get pushed in, and then they'll actually pop out and lock into place with the tension from the spring. And that is a spring pin. And with these spring pins too, like I said, you can buy this stuff on Amazon for so cheap. So buy a kit that comes with tons of different sizes. If you're getting into watch collecting, it's gonna come in handy. It's probably a good idea to order this before you start resizing in case you lose one, because they can go flying, and I'll show you how. So as you can see, they're just those little pins in there. And what's nice is these punches actually usually work. Usually fits right in there. It's perfect for it. So what you would do is you would try to push that in on one side and click it one way. Only move it one hole at a time so you don't lose it. And now you can see I've moved it to the edge there. And now we're gonna go back and repeat it on this side. So we're gonna lightly push that in and just wiggle it into position right here. Sometimes if you miss the hole and you pop it out, that spring is gonna go bing and go flying. So I've had them hit me in the eye before, so be careful. But that's your micro adjuster if you just need a little bit of a sizing difference. So there you go. Now you should be able to resize your very own split pin watch bracelet without issues. Take your time. You don't wanna scratch up your watch. So just go slow, take your time. But these tools are probably gonna cost you less than what it would to go have your watch resized at a jeweler. Plus you get that nice sense of accomplishment. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and I will catch you next time.